Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Quam and Audrey. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
That's it. That's all I got. It was a big, long hi. Hi.
I hope you both enjoyed your 4th of July weekend and are well rested today and excited for the show.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Welcome to all of our friends out there on Twitter. If this is your first time watching us, you can catch us on What to Watch Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern across Xfinity platforms, or now you can watch us nationwide on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Zumo, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Watch us do this and interview stars and watch some TV and movies that we picked out ourselves. It's pretty cool. But for now, on today's show, we've got a great one for you. We'll explore some popular TV shows that might surprise you. Audrey gives us a sneak peek at the first 2 weeks of Xfinity's Summer of Free. Quam goes on the record with the music he's into right now. We'll show you a What to Watch Live exclusive scene from the upcoming AMC Plus original series Moonhaven, and we'll help you organize your TV watch list for the next 2 weeks, because we're off next week, but we're here today. So let's kick things off with a look at the biggest and occasionally surprising shows on TV in a segment called Trending. As Xfinity editors, it's our job to have our fingers on the pulse of entertainment, but even we are occasionally surprised by the shows all of you are watching. So today we thought we'd take a look at 5 of the hottest shows airing right now. First up, it's the Peacock and Bravo series, The Real Housewives of Dubai. So this is the 12th installment of the Real Housewives franchise, 12th including Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I don't know if that counts technically as an installment, but it follows the lives of 6 wealthy women living in the United Arab Emirates. Audrey, you are our resident Housewives expert. Are you watching this one?
I did start watching it. Yes, all of this watch history making trending is me. It's just me watching it over and over again. Yeah, it's so fascinating. I mean, Dubai is just an unreal place. So to see it on TV in this way is really cool. And the other thing that I think is kind of unique about this Housewives installment is a lot of the other ones, the Housewives are from that area, right? So New York, New Jersey, they all grew up there. And this is very different. Most people don't grow up in Dubai. So you have one woman from Texas, someone from Massachusetts, someone from Jamaica. There's one Emirati local, someone from London. You might recognize Carolyn Stanbury if you watched Ladies of London. So she was in that Bravo show. So now she's back in Dubai. So that's a really interesting mix of people from all over the place, then coming to Dubai and all the glitz and glamour. So I think that's really cool. And it's very glitzy and very glamorous.
I was just gonna say, I hear that the wealth in this installment makes everyone look like they're super poor.
Oh, it's bananas. Yeah, it really does. Everything is just dripping in gold and sparkles and just real money, not tacky money.
Monopoly money.
No offense, everyone else. Real money. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
Quam, I'm guessing you don't watch, so I'm just going to move on to the next one.
Hey, Dave, don't assume.
Maybe he'll surprise you. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I do not watch Real Housewives at all. I was going to ask, though, is there any difference besides the location in any of these installments, or is it just the same, I don't know, plots, just different location?
Pretty much the same. I think you kind of guessed that. Yeah. It's a lot of lunches, going out to lunch and chit-chatting and talking smack on each other. It's a lot of going out at night. It's a lot of them walking around their amazing houses and complaining about things. But in a fancier way, in a, more ritzy Dubai kind of way. Yes, they're all very similar. They all have like their flair depending on where they are that makes them like unique. But very similar premise, if you will.
All right. Well, with that, we'll move on to number 4 on the list. It is the brand new Epix Western drama, Billy the Kid. A couple of weeks ago on What to Watch Live, we talked about how hot Westerns are right now with Outer Range, Yellowstone, 1883, and That Dirty Black Bag. And now Epix has also cashed in on the trend with this series based on the life of iconic American outlaw William H. Bonney, better known as Billy the Kid. The first season just recently ended, so you can binge all 8 episodes right now. This isn't one I've gotten around to, but it's really a big hit for Epix.
Yeah, I haven't watched this either yet, but it's doing incredibly well in general. And the thing that's interesting about this, like another fun fact, the star isn't very well known. So usually like when you see like a commercial or you see an ad, you see like a poster for something, you're like, oh, I don't really know much about this or care much about this maybe, but I love XYZ actor, so I'm going to give it a try. That's not the case with this, which makes it like even more surprising that it took off in the first season so much without like any big name talent really attached to it.
Right. And it's interesting, like Billy the Kid only lived to be 21 years old. So it'll be interesting to see how long they can drag this series out. They don't have much time before eventually he meets his demise, you would think, unless each season is like a week long in real TV time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Number 3 is really interesting. It's the History Channel reality series Alone, which follows 10 survivalists who try to survive in the wilderness for as long as they can with limited supplies and equipment. Each contestant is alone, isolated from each other and the outside world, and they only leave the game if they voluntarily quit or are removed by the medical team. And then the last person standing wins $500,000. Like, it just goes until it ends. Like, it's wild.
I'm shaking my head because like, no, never, ever could I do this. It is so interesting to watch, but like I would die and or voluntarily leave immediately. Like I don't eat meat. Like I would eat a poison berry and just be like toast. I would never make it without frozen pizzas and like a toaster oven and Instagram. Like I can't do the show, but like so interesting to watch. And the people that can are amazing.
Yeah, you pretty much just
for
live off
$500,000,
of
I
your
feel like
daughter's
I could do
leftover
a lot.
spaghetti at this point.
Yes, David's right. I eat my daughter's leftover macaroni and cheese and spaghetti as dinner. And if I had that not to live on, like, I don't know what I would. And that's clearly not happening in the wilderness of middle of nowhere.
Wait,
Go ahead, Kwame, what were you saying?
Yeah, you think that the like promise of money could drive you to survive for a long time?
Have you seen gas prices right now? Yes. I definitely think $500,000 will definitely convince me to stay on as long as possible. I'll probably get taken out by a medical cart before I quit, just because I don't know how to survive in the wilderness. And so it'll be like my first day. I'll be like, okay, I'm a forage, like all you said, for some berries or drink some water, and then like, I don't know, come down with this like ill disease like COVID or something like that. And yeah, I'll definitely be taken out before I quit.
COVID.
But $500,000, I gotta at least try. Yeah, the original COVID.
So it's interesting.
COVID-1.
The show is always up there as one of the most popular. It's in its 9th season, but I've never watched an episode, which is crazy because I love Survivor and I love shows like this. And the current season was filmed in the fall of 2021 and takes place in the Labrador region of Canada. And I guess this is like the first time that they've ever faced something that is apparently as serious as polar bears. Like polar bears is a thing in this season that they're contending with, which you don't hear often.
Wait, there's polar bears in Canada
or something like that. Yeah, apparently in the Labrador region, which I didn't even know was a thing. I thought that was a dog.
Sure is a dog.
Sure is a dog.
Yeah, polar bears are not nice. Very cute, not very nice.
Waiting for more thoughts on polar bears from Quam.
No, polar bears. That's all I got.
That's it.
That's it.
Polar
All right,
bears are not nice. Noted.
Let's move on to number
Period.
2. It's the Showtime stripper drama P Valley, which follows the lives of several people working at a Mississippi strip club called The Pink. The show earned universal critical acclaim for season 1. It scored 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and earned nominations at the GLAAD Awards, Independent Spirit Awards, and NAACP Image Awards, among others. And the series is currently in the middle of its second season, which is also boasting around a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. So rare to see a second season maintain that critical acclaim, and it's also very popular with fans. Do either of you watch this?
So
no, as previously discussed, I spent all my time watching Housewives of Dubai, but maybe Quam, maybe Quam does.
It's I watched the first season like up until like halfway there, and like the first half at least, and it's crazy to hear how great it is. I mean, my friends are talking about it, so I'm thinking I got to pick it back up. But the first half of the season it's like gripped me, and then like, it kind of lost me the second half. But according to my friends, it really picks back up in the second half of the season. And again, season 2 is apparently off to a really great start. According to all the people who I talked to who watched it. So I got to pick it back up now. Like I said, the first half of the first season to me was like really strong, and it just somehow lost me. But I think I just got to power through and finish it because 100% is insane.
Yeah, maybe you were just having like an off day or you were in a bad mood because like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes can't be wrong, right?
Yeah, it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. I'm like, why did I fall?
Yeah,
off
Quam.
This,
What's wrong with you?
So number 1 is something that's been a mystery to us for the last couple of weeks. It is a show called Carl Weber's The Family Business. Carl Weber's The Family Business on BET. This has been one of the most popular shows on TV for probably a month now. And I remember Audrey saying weeks ago, guys, what is this show? It originally premiered on BET Plus and is now airing on BET. And it's actually in its 3rd season. So I think part of the popularity is that it did jump from BET Plus to BET. It stars Ghostbusters alum Ernie Hudson as the patriarch of a family that owns an exotic car dealership, but they also live a dangerous double life in the New York City underground. And there's also a storyline about which of Ernie Hudson's kids will take over the family business. So it's basically like Succession meets Empire. And I'm like totally fascinated by the popularity of this series. Audrey, I know you don't watch it.
Yeah, I don't. But like David said, like when I started seeing this pop, at first I noticed it and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like maybe it was like a finale or a really strong episode. And then the next week came and it was still like super popular. And the next week, and like David said, it's been like weeks now. So did some digging and it turns out Carl Weber, I guess, is an author. So he has something like, and I looked this up the other week, so I may be a little off, but like 22 novels, maybe 21, like wow. Lots of novels he's written. And this is based on one of them, but like has tons of accolades in like the writing world. And I think maybe this is like the first one that has been made into a series, but expect to probably see more because it's jaw-dropping how well this is doing without like we all work in TV, right? Like until this started gaining popularity and us like seeing things, I had never heard of it. I've never seen an ad. I've never seen a poster. I've never seen anything on social. Like, so it was so shocking to me that this was doing so well, but there's got to be something to it. But it's fascinating. Great for Carl Weber.
I'm smiling and I want to know why.
I'm thinking like this is like the BTS of TV because it's like you never heard of it, but apparently it's like super big. And so, and honestly, just based off the name, for some reason, I was thinking it was going to be like a comedy. So when you're telling me it's like Succession
I
meets
thought it was a
Empire,
reality show.
oh, okay. So,
Yeah, I thought it was reality too.
Yeah,
yeah,
I thought it was like
I have no
a
idea what I
guy
thought it was a
who
comedy.
runs a family business.
I would also just like to point out the thread that is running through all of these with the word exotic. So we have exotic dancers, we have exotic car business, we have exotic locations,
And
and
exotic
I don't
people,
know
I don't
what
know what
about Billy
exotic
the
exotic
Kid is
persons,
is.
exotic, but sure.
exotic
Well,
restaurants.
that is your five
Yes.
top trending right now, and I also want to give a shout out to a couple more trending shows worth checking out: The Old Man on FX, 90 Day Fiance on TLC, The First Lady on Showtime, This Is Us still kicking on NBC, and Dark Winds on AMC, which I don't think anyone saw coming, but I'm certainly enjoying. It's like a. Did you watch it?
We watched the first episode last night.
What'd you think?
I'm interested. It was like a little slow, but I know that there's like a supernatural aspect coming, which I'm here for. So if anyone isn't aware, it's kind of this like cop drama on like a Navajo reservation. And there is a double murder and they're investigating it, but clearly it's not. There's like a claw mark on a door. So like, was it a polar bear? We don't know. Like, there's something going on. Like there's a grandmother who can kind of see things. So there's like a whole spiritual aspect. So I'm hanging in there for that.
Gotta
It
watch out
also
for those
has like a
grandmas who can see
true
things.
detective.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has like a true detective feel to it, which always like felt like it was going to get supernatural, but never did. So like it's
Yeah.
got that feel to it where you're like, is it gonna get supernatural? Is it not? But I think like the log line for the show says that like something is amiss, like in a paranormal type sense. But
Yes.
really cool to see like uh the very diverse casting for this and seeing some stories and characters that you don't typically see on TV, let alone like a major like network like AMC. So I find it really like refreshing and
Yeah.
interesting to watch, and it's been popular and I think already renewed for a second season by AMC. So you can check it out without worry. And you can check out all the trending shows we just talked about and more by saying what to watch in your voice remote. Next up, grab a towel, throw on your swimsuit, and get comfortable on your couch. It's time for the Summer of Free. The Summer of Free has arrived, which means Xfinity customers can enjoy free previews of popular networks each week through August. And Audrey is here to tell us about those networks, the popular shows and movies you can enjoy in these first 2 weeks of our annual event. Audrey, take it away.
Sure thing. So, yes, Summer Free is super exciting because we're bringing you tons of free content. So, first, we'll talk about Epics, which David and I both touched on with Billy and the Kid. So, from July 5th to July 11th, all of Epics is free for you to watch: the movies, the shows, everything, which is super exciting. So, if you haven't watched Billy the Kid yet and want to find out what all the buzz is about, you can certainly do that during this week for free. And then also House of Gucci, which came out earlier in 2021, is available for free. So these are both really popular, big titles that we're super excited to bring to you. If these kind of aren't up your alley, just want to highlight some other things. So in the TV space from Epix, Bridge and Tunnel Season 2 will be available. Women Who Rock is a new docuseries. From, which was also like a supernatural first season series from Epix. So the full season of that will be available, all 10 episodes. And as always, Godfather of Harlem, which is a staple for Epix, always does incredibly well. I believe will be coming back in the fall or later in the year. So the first 2 seasons of that you can binge to get ready for the new season. So super exciting. July 5th to July 11th, everything on Epix. It's going to be great. Then, also movies. Sorry, more Epix movies. The Lost City, Respect, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Jim Carrey fans, Addams Family 2, No Time to Die. So there's just tons to choose from. It's really something for everybody, which is the whole point, right? We want to be able to bring content to you guys and TV and movies and everything to make all of the people happy. So the following week, after sitting on your couch and watching all you can watch from Epix, we have some free fitness for you. So get your booty up, start moving from July 12th to July 18th. Gaia, Gaiam, Fit Fusion, and Sweat Factor are all free for the whole week. So you can do yoga, dance, cardio, bar, Pilates, all of the things. But if you're anything like me, you might be lazy. You might not be an exerciser. You might want to do anything but exercise. So the two things I wanted to highlight are yoga's easier than you think. Is it really? Because it's pretty hard for me, but maybe this will make it easier. So definitely worth giving it a shot. And then Jillian Michaels, who was super popular years and years ago, has her own fitness network, which is really great. So she has one of her series called 10-Minute Body, which is great if you're short on time, because who wouldn't want her body in 10 minutes? So those are just two of the like thousands. There's so much fitness content that's so great. And I also want to point out walking, because I know you think it's weird. Like, why would I watch a walking video at home? But walking is the most popular fitness category among Comcast users, which always boggled my mind, but there's tons of free walking content as well. So July 12th to July 18th, Gaia, Gaiam, Fit Fusion, and Jillian Michaels, Sweat Factor, all of the things. So like David said, every week this summer through August, we will have free stuff for everyone. So you can just say free into your voice remote. You can check out the whole destination. You'll see what's currently free and what's coming up next. So you can get really excited and plan your summer.
Walking is just about the only exercise that I will probably end up doing. So that's perfect for me. It's not like Quam, who's out there pumping weights on the daily. I can't keep up with that gym routine.
Listen.
Who can?
I mean, listen, don't doubt me, okay? I love a good Jillian Michaels 10-minute workout, because sometimes I don't have an hour or half an hour to get to the gym. So all I have is 10 minutes, and who doesn't want a body like Julia Michaels? So, and you can make the argument that walking is the most popular exercise. So there's that.
Because everyone does it. Like,
everyone does it. Everyone walks.
Like,
well, not everyone, but
yeah.
a lot of people walk.
Not everyone walks.
More people walk than are lifting hundreds of pounds at the gym every day, like Quam.
Exactly.
True.
And scene.
Yeah. All right. As Audrey said, just say free into your remote. Check it out all summer long. Next up, Beyonce is back, and Quam has some strong feelings about it in a segment called Best of. What's hot right now in the world of music? Which artists are heating up the airwaves? It's time to put our very own Xfinity music editor on the record with his picks for the songs and albums you need to inject into your ear holes right now. Quam, take it away.
Thanks, David. In my editor's picks collection, you can find all of the current songs, music, albums, and all the suggestions that I think you should be listening to right now. You can check out the songs that are heavy in my rotation, or listen to the albums I think are worth tapping into. You can even check out me talking to like awesome celebrities, or see some of the movies and documentaries that are music related that I'm watching. Just say on the record into your Xfinity voice remote and to see all of this and more. And speaking of what I'm listening to, speaking of not necessarily Beyonce, speaking of Jungle, let's check out some songs that I think you should add to your queue. First up is Jungle Problems. So this is a funk soul dance duo, and they are back with some new music. And while this song has been out for a couple of weeks, I really can't stop listening to it. It had such a groovy beat, and it's so contagious that you can't help but like vibe to it. It's uplifting, but still like mildly chill for like a summer afternoon. It's definitely a summer bop, and it gets 2 thumbs up for me. Next is
Don't move on yet.
SZA's Jodi.
I want to talk about this one.
Oh.
Don't move on yet.
You want to talk about this song? You want to talk about this song?
David has thoughts.
David, do you have to? Okay,
thoughts
I didn't know
just
David has
saying
thoughts.
like that. It's just like it's just like a great vibe. Like I don't really know what the words are in the song. I don't really know what they're saying because there's
Oh,
like 30
Grampy.
there's like there's like 30 people singing, it feels like. But it's like very uplifting, and it's definitely the kind of thing that would like get me moving. So this is a song I would put on, that Grampy would put on to like dance around the house while doing some dishes or something.
Yeah, put it on your 8-track.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
mean,
Quad.
it
Go ahead.
definitely
Tell
is
us
one of
about
those songs,
SZA.
and it's I mean, I was gonna tell you more about Jungle and their problems, but if you want me to talk about SZA, I'll definitely talk about SZA.
Go
And so,
for it.
speaking of SZA,
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
well, thank you, David. Thank you for giving me the freedom to do what I want to do. But so SZA, I've never seen an artist like coast off the success of one album, unlike SZA. Besides, like maybe like Lauryn Hill, because SZA she only released the album or her first major album back in like 2017 with Control, and she just recently dropped the deluxe version to this album, which is insane because it's like it's about 4 or 5 years later. Why are you just now dropping the deluxe? But I'm not mad about it because this song Jodi is also a nice summer vibe. It makes me feel like I'm at a picnic. And I'm just like, chilling out with some friends. There's no problems on my mind. And even though the song is like very like problem heavy, it's more about SZA talking about like, yeah, I'm having these issues, but I need to like, go relax and not worry about these issues. And it's just a vibe. It's just a pure vibe, and I love SZA. I love new music. I would love a new album, but a deluxe to her 2017 Control album will suffice, especially with this song. I'm really loving this song right now. I'm sure a whole lot of SZA fans are loving this song. Are any of you SZA fans?
I also like.
I know Brad is.
I'm not typically a SZA fan, but I do really enjoy the vibe of this song. Like I need to listen to it a few more times to like really process the lyrics. I mean, typically the way I listen to music is I listen for like the vibe and the mood of it first, and then like kind of get into the lyrics and like learn like what else is behind it. So like I was just listening first just to see if like I vibe with the tone of the song, melodically speaking, and I do. So I'll listen to it certainly a little more.
Do you know what's so interesting, David? You just were talking about like how you listen to a song, and it made me think of Kwam. You're not going to relate to this because you're such a baby,
Oh my
but
gosh.
when back in the day when CDs were like a thing, you would get a CD and it came with like the track listing with like all the lyrics in the book in the front of the CD. And like the first thing I would do was like take out the book, listen to the song, and like read the lyrics and go through the pages and like memorize all the lyrics and like fully understand what the song was about. And then like I would pick my favorites and like figure out which I vibed with. And now it's so different. Like you're right. Like you listen to like, I don't want to make a generalization, but like I feel like you just said that, and I do the same thing. Like you listen for like the emotion first, and then like you start to break down the lyrics. It's just interesting how that's changed with like the way music is given to you. Like now it's on the internet or on your phone.
Yeah, I think there's just
That's
a
all.
lot. I think compared to I'm not that young, Audrey. Okay, I bought a CD. But I
All
think
right,
now
good.
with
Whew.
how accessible music is, you don't necessarily have to like invest as much to really like go listen to a new album or even listen to a new song before you had to go buy a CD, and so you're more invested into the song itself or like just the whole project as a whole. Whereas now you can kind of just throw it on whenever you want, whenever you feel like it, and so that's probably the first thing you are just checking out. It's like, okay, there's a ton of music I can listen to. Am I even going to vibe with this? And so I think this is kind of like the change of behaviors of how like the accessibility to music has just changed our listening habits. So
For sure.
just an
Super interesting.
observation. But yes, SZA, Jodi, good song, good vibe. David approves of the vibe, and hopefully he approves of the lyrics as well. And last but not least, certainly not least, we gotta bring up Beyonce, Queen B, her that woman. Oh my gosh, she's back, y'all. She is back. With this nice, this really groovy song "Break My Soul." It's really pulling from the '90s house era of music. It even samples Robin S's what's that song? "Show Me Your Love," or Show Me Love. Robin S. Show Me Love, which is a 90s song.
Yeah.
Do you know that song, David?
I do know that song. You know what's crazy is that there were 2 songs called Show Me Love in the 90s, one by Robin S. and one by Robin. 2 songs, 2 different Robins, same title.
Wow.
But that Robin S. song is great.
Who came out? Yeah, it is, and it's great to see Beyonce use that as a reference point for this song.
Brad, who came up? Which Robin did it first?
Which Robin did it first, Brad?
Which Robin?
Put Brad on. Brad, you're on the clock. But with this new song, as I mentioned, it's pulling a lot from 90s house. And it's the first single off our new album, that's our upcoming album, Renaissance, which I believe comes out July 23rd, I want to say. It's late July. And if I'm putting my, theorizing cap on and seeing, trying to peer into the mind of Beyonce, what I think she's doing with this album, based off of what I read in this song, this particular song, I think she's going to pull a lot of inspiration from Black artists and Black genres throughout music's history, to really comprise this new album called Renaissance, which I think would make sense because Renaissance is like an era where it's all about the arts and all about just people being excellent at certain things. And so I think it's gonna be like an album celebration of just of Black art. And with this new song, it's definitely groovy. It's definitely getting people moving. It's probably the better of dance songs that we're hearing now compared to some other artists who released dance music that hasn't been received so well. But Audrey, you have a lot of thoughts.
That's very pointed.
Yeah, no,
I don't have a lot of thoughts. I have a few. So the first time I listened to it, the first couple notes, bars, what you will, for whatever reason, it reminded me, maybe not the first couple, after the intro, of Rhythm is a Dancer for some reason. If you know that 90s song.
Yeah.
And it also very much felt like if roller skating palaces, roller skating rinks were a thing now still, this would be what kids were roller skating to. It reminded me of a roller skate song that I would skate to, but the modern version of it. That's my take. It sounds like a roller skate song, which is not a bad thing. It's fun.
It's so interesting that you said that, Audrey, because it reminds me of the song "Everybody, Everybody" by Black Box. The wow. Dun, dun,
yeah.
Wow. Everybody. Yeah, it's got that same vibe. I don't like this song. I don't. I love an 80s vibe in music. Kwam knows this, I was a whole 7 months late to the song called New Shapes by Charlie XCX that I absolutely love, and that's got an 80s vibe to it. I told Kwam to listen to this new song and he's like, that came out 7 months ago. But I love that. I don't need a 90s vibe back in my music, although I love Robin S. Brad does say Robin S.'s Show Me Love was first.
My musical taste just skews a lot more indie rock, emo, sad, grunge, depressing, grunge, pop punk. That's my wheelhouse. If it's upbeat, it's screaming and angry. And otherwise it's very chill and folky or just I don't know, indie, melodic. So that is all the reason for me not loving this stuff. I just don't love 80s, and I don't love synth, any of that stuff is very not for me.
You're a Gemini, right?
But that's what's great about music. I am a Gemini, yes.
Okay, that makes total sense because you're either I'm very chill or I'm just screaming my lungs out, and so I'm that's a Gemini right there.
Kwam, it's the story of my life. There's a Jonathan Richman song, which if you guys aren't familiar with Jonathan Richman, he's amazing. And it's called I Want the City, but I Want the Country Too. And that is my life as a Gemini, very much on both sides of the spectrum.
Incredible. I love Geminis, but.
And you can say TV horoscopes if you would like to see more about what your horoscope means about you and what you should be watching.
Big plug.
Let me just throw that out there, Comcast people.
I have a little like full circle little thing here too, is that I noticed on your on the record destination with all your musical tastes, you have the new Michelle song "Full for You," which is like a new additional
Yep.
track that they just recently released for their After Dinner We Talk Dreams album, which I bought on vinyl. And they have within the liner, like there's a big booklet that comes with the vinyl record that lists all the lyrics for every single song. And that's something that they've been doing on vinyl records now, like going back to like CD times, where now you can buy the vinyl and like have all the lyrics in a big old booklet. And I love that. And I love that Michelle album. It's so good. And I can't believe that Kwame and I both like Michelle. Makes me feel really good about me.
Oh, I feel like Kwame put a Michelle track on like a mixtape for me when we were trying to be like, here, listen to these songs that I think are good. No, you listen to these songs that I think are good. So I'm on
I
board
did.
too, guys.
I thought you would like Michelle because they're like more indie, more chill.
I
And it
do.
was so hard not to include them in my on the record roundup. I just found that these other songs that I chose were just better in my ears. But I do like Michelle. They are definitely heavy in my rotation. And Brad has said Renaissance, the Beyonce album, is coming out July 29th to be exact. So if you're looking for the Beyonce album, check it out on July 29th. Check out all my picks, all my songs, everything I think you should check out just by saying on the record into your Xfinity voice remote. And now back to David, or I don't know what's next, David. How about you tell
Hey,
me what's
that's
next?
me wrapping it up. Yeah, next up, we'll give you an exclusive sneak peek at the upcoming AMC Plus series Moonhaven in a segment called Editor Picks. On July 7th, AMC Plus debuts its brand new original sci-fi series Moonhaven, which is set in a not-so-distant future when a dying, polluted, and overcrowded Earth threatens humanity's existence. With the help of a revolutionary AI technology, a community is built on the moon in an effort to create a new and sustainable way of living. Now, 100 years later, the first wave of lunar residents are poised to return to Earth with their findings, but a murder on the moon threatens to derail everything. And with that in mind, check out this What to Watch Live exclusive clip from the upcoming premiere of Moonhaven.
For thousands of years, agriculture forced us to enslave each other. Energy demand created massive inequality. Scarcity divided us. Pestilence and disease weakened us. But over the last century, we have turned a corner. With the assistance of I.O., we are on the verge of being able to explore an undiscovered country. An Earth population with all its basic needs met, with a climate that no longer seeks to destroy us. So how do we now transition to our own better future with I.O.? The mission of Moonhaven is to show us on Earth the way.
So what do you all think? I've already seen the first 4 episodes of this, so I'm basically a Moonhaven expert before anyone else has seen
Ooh.
Um,
So I think go, Kwame.
Okay. Well, I just think it's hitting a little too close to home because I feel like this could actually happen within the next 100 years. So again, have you seen these gas prices? But I think it's like a really interesting show, and I definitely can't wait to check it out because I like shows like this, I like movies and series and stuff like this, where it's like, yeah, Earth sucks, and we had to go away, and now we got to figure out how to do it better. And so I'm like, is there anything we can like pull from this show to our actual lives so it doesn't get to that point where we got to be like on the moon? So those are my thoughts. Audrey.
Yeah.
So has a similar vibe to The Expanse, which everyone knows I was a huge fan of and binged like a lunatic. So in like The Expanse, like same kind of deal. People leave Earth. Some people do stay on Earth because it is inhabitable. But they go to all different planets and galaxies, and there's all these like different civilizations all throughout the universe. And they travel back and forth. So number one, I'm here for like the Expanse vibes. Number two, on like a personal level, sci-fi is like one of the things that my husband and I like both like a lot, so we can watch together. So always here for a show that I'm not like, I'll go upstairs and watch Real Housewives, you stay downstairs and watch the NBA draft, and like moving on. So great, we can watch that together. And Dominic Monaghan, like, I know Lost, yada yada yada. I'm a Lost fan, even though I know the ending, blah blah blah. And I haven't seen him in a long time, so like happy to have him back. And also, I love True Blood, so like Joe Manganiello is in this. So it's an interesting cast and an interesting premise. So I'm curious to see what it's like. David, can you tell us anything without like spoiling stuff for the fans?
So I'll fully admit that I was not totally on board with the show through the first episode until the very end. And then there's a moment, like a twist, that made me go, whoa, I have to see the second episode. And then even in the second episode, I was like, all right, I'm there, but like not totally there. And then there's a moment at the end of the second episode, and the second episode is very good. And I'm like, okay, I'm all in on this now. And like what I find really interesting about the series is that this moon community, Moonhaven, gives off like major cult vibes. They wear these sort of like hippie commune clothes. They chant, they sing, they do yoga, they wear flowers in their hair. But there's no violence, there's no crime, and they've created a community with sustainable methods and a way of life that could conceivably reverse the damage done to Earth. But the people on the moon have never lived on Earth. And so when this murder coincides with an Earther's visit to the moon, it causes all kinds of political upheaval and questions about whether they can make this transition. And as you mentioned, Audrey, actually one of the strongest parts of the show is Dominic Monaghan of Lord of the Rings fame. And he plays this Moonhaven detective who has never really had to investigate a real crime. He's never seen true evil. So he's kind of inept at first, and his pal, his like co-detective, is played by Kadeem Hardison, better known as Dwayne Wayne from A Different World. And they're like hilariously bad at their job at first. But Dominic's character is like really smart and intuitive and has a good heart. And he joins forces with this Earth pilot named Bella to solve the mystery before it crushes this whole project. And I will add that Bella, who's played by Emma McDonald, is also so excellent in this show. It's her first, she's in the poster there right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's her first starring role in a TV series, and she's sort of this cross between Zendaya and Michelle Rodriguez. And she's one of those actresses, when she's on screen, it's hard to look away. She's like very watchable. And I think they both really steal the show. And Joe Manganiello is playing like a character that's a little different from what he's played. Like this guy with like a sensitive soul. I'm not like totally sold on it because he's just like kind of it's not what we've seen from him, but doesn't make
Wait, you mean he's not playing a werewolf?
No, he's not. He's not a sexy
Darn.
No.
Well, I may have to reconsider.
Yeah. And I'll also just mention quick that the series was created by Peter Ocko, who also co-produced and wrote episodes of Lodge 49, Black Sails, Elementary, The Office, Pushing Daisies, Boston Legal, and one of my personal favorites, Dinosaurs from the 90s.
What a repertoire.
It's really a strange collection of shows, and now he's got this. But one of the other things like I love about the writing on this is the way the language on the moon has evolved. So it's very similar to the language in Hunger Games, the way words and phrases have changed in small ways. Like they're saying phrases and referencing items, but they're like not how we refer to them, like a mockingjay instead of a mockingbird. But it's like they say like, oh, I was really like consumed by my thinks is a phrase that they say instead of thoughts. And It's a clever way of
Might steal that.
differentiating the Earth and lunar people.
Yeah.
It really annoyed me at first. I was like, this is kind of dumb, but eventually grew on me, and I'm like, okay, it really like differentiates these two communities. It's subtle, not quite as overt as the way future language is used in that awful Tom Hanks movie Cloud Atlas. But I digress. That movie was so terrible. That's Moonhaven.
Well, I'm glad I know about the cult vibe edition because love a good cult situation, not in real life on TV. So that's like an interesting twist to this. Yeah, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that they chose the moon to inhabit instead of like Mars, and because like typically like in sci-fi, you know, where you're talking about like colonization of like a different planet, they actually choose a planet and not a moon, which you know just seems like a planet would be more, I don't know, better for being like habitating. But what do I know? I'm not a astrophysicist, nor am I from the future. So
No, it's also just a fantasy show, so you know.
I mean,
So good.
doesn't mean it can't be
Taking some
grounded in
liberties.
logic, you
Taking
know.
some liberties. All right. Well, Moonhaven premieres on AMC Plus in just 2 days, Thursday, July 7th. You can say AMC Plus on demand into your voice remote to subscribe or watch the show. Before we head out for the week, it's time to organize your TV watch list with Plan Ahead. What to Watch Live is off next week, so for today's Plan Ahead, we'll take a look at the hottest premieres for the next 2 weeks, starting with the current week of July 4th. Kwam, tell us what we're excited about.
So I honestly thought having the ability to see my future would solve all of my problems, but I guess I'm sadly mistaken. In this new Hulu comedy series, Maggie, we follow the titular character whose clairvoyant powers allows her to see the future of everyone else but her own. However, when Maggie suddenly sees her own fate, she is forced to begin living in the here and now. Maggie premieres on Hulu on July 6. Well, this series definitely looks explosive. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help myself. Trigger Point is a British crime thriller series that stars Vicky McClure as a police bomb disposal expert in London. When a terrorist campaign threatens the capital over one summer, the frontline officers must risk their lives to find out who's behind the bombings before it's too late. Trigger Point comes to Peacock on July 8th. Also debuting on July 8th is the new limited drama series from Apple TV titled Blackbird. When the son of a policeman is sentenced to 10 years in prison, he's given the opportunity to earn his freedom. What does he have to do? Oh, just enter a maximum security prison for the criminally insane and befriend a suspected serial killer. Nothing too crazy. Oh, did I mention that he needs to find out a way to elicit a confession from said serial killer? Yeah, good luck, sir. Inspired by actual events, Blackbird comes to Apple TV Plus on July 8th. Wrestling fanatics rejoice! The second season of A&E's biography, WWE Legends, is nearly upon us. In this docuseries, fans get the ultimate ringside seat to the stories of some of the most memorable wrestling superstars. This series showcases the exploits of wrestling legends such as The Undertaker, the Bella Twins, and Rey Mysterio, just to name a few. Biography WWE Legends will premiere on July 10th on A&E. Lastly, Epix looks to pay homage to the legion of female pioneers in music with their new docuseries, Women Who Rock. The 4-part series features generations of iconic female artists who discuss truth, defiance, artistic expression, and the tales behind their timeless songs. Women Who Rock comes to Epix on July 10th.
In celebration of The Bachelorette's 19th season, for the first time in the show's history, it will feature 2 bachelorettes, Gabby Windey and Rachel Riccia. Jesse Palmer will return as host for what is sure to be a search for love unlike any we've seen. If you're a reality TV stan, you'll likely recognize Gabby and Rachel for their appearances on season 26 of The Bachelor, aka Clayton's season. ABC has previously stated that Gabby and Rachel will not be pitted against one another, but you'll just have to tune in to the premiere of The Bachelorette Monday, July 11th on ABC to see if that remains true. Fans of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad don't have much longer to wait for what might be the most epic entertainment crossover. With season 6 promising to bridge the gap between Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, many fans wonder how Walt and Jesse will play into the final episodes. Bob Odenkirk, who obviously plays Saul, recently shed some light on Walt and Jesse's return, explaining that their roles are bigger than what many fans may have realized. Instead of a single appearance for the pair, Odenkirk revealed that both characters will appear more than once in the remaining episodes. Better Call Saul returns for its final season, Monday, July 11th on AMC. It's been a long, dark existence without Nandor, Nadja, Laszlo, Guillermo, and Colin Robinson. I imagine much like the inside of a coffin. But fear not, you've seen the teasers, you know this season we have a lot to look forward to. Like clubbing vamps, a baby Colin Robinson, they're all on the horizon. Tune in to the season premiere of What We Do in the Shadows, Tuesday, July 12th on FX. The aliens of solar opposites will soon be landing on Earth, and fans of the hit sci-fi animated series will be pleased to learn that we're getting 12 episodes rather than the usual 8 this go-around. Reunite with the gang for what is sure to be an out-of-this-world Season 3. Solar Opposites premieres Wednesday, July 13th on Hulu. Netflix is delighting gamers and movie buffs with the TV version of Resident Evil. Set 14 years after a deadly virus caused a global apocalypse, Jade Wesker fights for survival in a world overrun by bloodthirsty and infected insane creatures, including hordes of zombies and giant spiders. Resident Evil premieres Thursday, July 14th on Netflix.